As of starting this recording, it is 12:48 p.m. or a.m. 12:48 a.m. Yeah, 12:48 a.m. And today I'm actually kind of excited. So we're not really going to talk about something today. We're not going to be talking about love or religion. I'm just going to tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened a couple years ago, and I think that it'll be good. I'm just really going to talk about some things that have happened to me and just kind of talk about how they've impacted me and just kind of, I guess, talk about life, which is exactly what this playlist is called. But I'm going to be talking about how I got aquaphobia. And if you don't know what that is, it's the phobia or the fear of water, and it's like an extreme fear. So for me personally, swimming in pools, just normal pools, especially at night, I have a hard time doing it. Like I hyperventilate in the water, or I'm just kind of scared, and I don't really know of what. So I'm just going to be telling you the story of how this happened. Because unlike some people where it's just you're scared of spiders because they're creepy, I used to love water. Yeah, like as a kid, I used to love it. And after this incident happened, I just lost interest in swimming. So to start off, I'll just preface with what kind of came of and how this happened, I guess. So I was camping with one of my best friends, and we were up in Flagstaff, and we were camping by I guess a river slash lake. But it was the best way I can explain it is from one side to the other. It was you could swim across if you really wanted to, but it was a pretty long swim, and we were just hanging out, and I think it was the second or third day. Um, my friend just said that he was going to go swimming in the lake. And I was like, that's fine, like, I'll go swimming with you, that's totally fine. But when I got up to the lake or the river, I'm just going to call it a lake, but I really don't know what it was. When I got up to the water, there was something I just didn't like about it. And it was just murky, there was seaweed everywhere, so if you got in the water, you could just feel the seaweed on your legs, and I didn't like that, it made me feel uncomfortable. So I just didn't, from the start, I didn't feel comfortable. It wasn't like me swimming in a pool where I just felt comfortable. There wasn't anything in the water. Like, the worst thing would be a bee floating, and I would have to push it away. But, like, in this, I just didn't know. And it was too murky, and it was really muddy, and I just said I didn't want to go. But being a guy, they started egging me on, like, come on, get in the water. And I didn't. But someone, I don't remember who, I think it was one of the adults on the trip, actually, convinced me to go swimming or like swim across it. So I was like I really don't want to, and my friend started doing it. And if you know peer pressure, like I was like, okay, now I have to. So jump in the water, freezing cold. That's the first thing I want to say is that I hadn't gotten in the water, I hadn't felt it, and I jumped off of this big rock into the water. And the first problem with that is that I got submerged underwater. So I felt all the seaweed on my legs. I couldn't see. I tried opening my eyes underwater, and I'm getting anxiety right now thinking about this. I opened my eyes underwater, and I couldn't see anything. It was just black. Like I could see some light, but it looked like if you opened your eyes under mud. That it's what it looked like practically. So from the start, I was just scared, and I don't know what happened, but I ended up going to the surface and without opening my eyes, just swimming. And when I opened my eyes, I realized that I was like practically in the middle of the lake, and I was just looking around. And the one thing that I should not have done, I looked around at everyone, and then I looked down. I looked into the water. I looked under me, and I was like up to here in the water, so the water was here, just kind of bobbing, and I couldn't see my body. So I felt claustrophobic. I felt like I was going to drown. I almost drowned in the middle. I almost had a panic attack because I was hyperventilating. My legs almost stopped working because it was really cold, and I just straight up almost stopped swimming. And I went under a little bit, and then I pulled myself up, and I would go under. And I was like, I know how to swim. Like, this is stupid. So I knocked myself back into place. I started swimming again, and then I finally got to the other side. And I just sat on the shore, and I can't explain the fear that was inside of me. It was just dread. Like, if you've ever seen in the movies where someone falls over and they're like pulling themselves back, like if like they're practically dragging themselves backwards, that's how I felt, and that's what I was doing. I was dragging myself away from the water. I was hyperventilating, and it was just I just couldn't even process anything. And my friend was over there. He was just trying to talk to me. He was like, "Oh my God, you look so stupid when you're swimming," and he was trying to make me feel better. But I just sat there, and then after about 10, 15 minutes, the adults were like, "Come on, come back, it's getting dark," and it was. And on top of all that had just happened, I just realized I have to swim back, and it's getting darker. So I was just completely terrified, and my friend's just trying to talk to me like, "Hey, like you can do this, it's totally fine, just don't worry about it, just swim with me." Hold on. Sorry, I dropped something. So I I'm just like, okay, so I'm gonna do this. Like I'm gonna swim, I'll be with him. And I the way back wasn't as bad, mainly because I wasn't alone and I wasn't yeah, I wasn't alone. I was with him, he was talking to me the whole way. But he told me after, he was like, the way you looked at me on the way back, it was just complete and utter terror. And to anyone out there who has a phobia, I've never had something that scary happen to me before. And I feel like I'm permanently scarred from that moment. And I've never really understood, like, some people, when they see spiders, they just flip out and they just can't do anything. They just jump on the couch and like, "Oh my God, kill it, please, please, please." I never understood that. I was like, really? It's not that scary. And now, well, I mean, this happened a couple of years ago, but I'm not any better. I still have problems. I won't get in lakes, period. I won't get in rivers. I won't do any of that. I'm better in pools. Like, I can swim in pools as long as there's someone there with me. But if I'm the only one in the pool, if it's dark or if the water's murky, I will not go. It's just, I can't do it. I just get too much anxiety. I freak out too much. And that's just where it started. So the next day, and this is all just building up this phobia because after that, like going to bed, I was just thinking about it over and over in my head, just like, what if something grabbed me underwater, like this and that, just saying these things and thinking about them, and it terrified me. And the next day, my friend's dad bought a raft, like a blow up raft, really crappy, very very crappy, and it had two little like I don't know, like rowers, I'll call them that, and so I want to say it was as long as maybe a tiny. It wasn't even as long as a car. It was like a tiny kid's car, if you know, like one of those tiny Jeeps you could buy for your kids. Like how big that is. That's how big it was, and we fit 5 people in that, and went onto the lake, and I was not okay with it, but just because my friends were going, I didn't want to be left behind, so I ended up going. But the whole way doing it, like while I was doing it, I was just terrified. And whenever anything happened, like they started rocking the boat back and forth as a joke, and I freaked out. I was like, "Guys, if you don't stop, I'm going to jump out and I'm going to swim to the shore." And if I'm not mistaken, we got close to the shore and I got so creeped out, I jumped out of the boat, which was retarded. I jumped out of the boat, and while I was swimming to the shore, I freaked out even more because I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in the water! Like this is like what's under me?" Because now I started thinking about like while I was swimming, all I was scared about was like, "Oh my God, look at all this water around me! Like I'm surrounded. I'm never gonna get to the land." But after like dwelling on it overnight, I was like, now there's like monsters under probably, and I'm gonna get pulled under. And while I was swimming to the shore, it wasn't really that far, and I'm not sure if it was a piece of seaweed, but something wrapped around my leg, and I can't even fathom right now how scared I was. I literally grabbed my leg. I had claw marks on my legs because I grabbed the seaweed or whatever it was and threw it underwater and then swam as quickly as I could to shore. I was like swimming right over the seaweed so I could just feel it brushing on my stomach and I just couldn't breathe. And it was the scariest thing. Then I somehow was convinced to go back out after, and we got stuck in seaweed. So we're in the boat. It's getting more deflated since it's hot outside. It's been in the sun. So it's deflated. It's sinking a little bit, but it's like it's not going to sink all the way. we're going over seaweed. I could feel it like on the bottom of the boat, because it's rubber. So, like I said, it's a blow up one, and if you have a phobia, I guess just put in the comments like how you feel about it. But I just can't get over it, and talking about it helps me, but it also makes me more scared because I just have to relive it, and it's just the most terrifying thing ever. That's really all I wanted to say. I just kind of wanted to ask. I hope somebody comments on this, and just if you made it this far, if you could comment for me, tell me about a phobia or a story you have with your phobias, because I've never experienced something so scary in my life, and it's like I'm still trying to get over it. I guess I'm still trying to, even when I get in pools, I kind of think back about it, and it stresses me out. But I'm getting better. I just don't really know, like, how do you get over a phobia? Um, but I kind of just wanted to tell that story. I thought that was something that somebody may like, and I kind of wanted to. We just covered depression. We just covered a ton of really hard subjects to cover, and I thought something more lighthearted or something more funny, something you can laugh about, would be better. So I hope you enjoyed it. That's really all I have to say. This is a shorter video, so I apologize. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.